Welcome to the Buddhism Guide podcast. I'm Yeshe Rabgye, and this episode is called Navigating Grief, Understanding, Coping and Healing. This podcast is free and independent due to member support, and thank you very much to everyone who supports this show. If you're interested in supporting my work, you can do so by visiting patreon.com/Buddhism Guide. And if you'd like to see more of my content, please visit my website, yesherabgye.com. In this episode, I'll be talking about how we can understand grief, how we learn to cope with it and heal from it. And I'll also be looking at the Buddhist perspective on grief. So let's get started. Grief is an unavoidable part of the human experience, a natural response to loss that can profoundly impact our emotional, mental and physical well-being. Whether triggered by death of a loved one, the end of a significant relationship, or a major life transition, grief is a universal phenomenon that touches us all at some point in our lives. In this podcast, we'll explore the nature of grief, its emotional and psychological impact, and constructive ways to cope with it. Additionally, we'll delve into the perspective of Buddhism on grief and how its teachings offer valuable insights into managing and transcending this painful experience. Grief, as a complex and multifaceted emotional response to loss, is a deeply personal and often transformative experience. It encompasses a wide spectrum of emotions, each contributing to the intricate tapestry of the grieving process. While the most commonly recognized emotions associated with grief include profound sadness and anger, guilt and confusion, it's also important to note that grief can also elicit unexpected emotions, such as relief. This complexity underscores the individual nature of grief, as each person's response is shaped by their unique relationship with the loss and the circumstances surrounding it. The experience of grief is not confined solely to the death of a loved one. While bereavement is a significant trigger for grief, it's crucial to recognize that grief can manifest in response to a wide array of losses. This may include the loss of a job, a home, a beloved pet, or one's own health. Each of these losses have the potential to evoke a deeply emotional response, as they represent the disruption of familiar routines, relationships, and a sense of security. Grief is a deeply personal experience, and the way it's expressed and processed varies from person to person. This individualized response is influenced by a host of factors, including cultural background, personal beliefs, past experiences with loss, and the nature of the relationship with the person or thing that has been lost. Some individuals may openly express their emotions, seeking solace in sharing their feelings with others, while others may find comfort in private reflection. Additionally, the passage of time and the evolution of one's emotions are unique to each individual, further emphasizing the deeply personal nature of the grieving process. The effects of grief are indeed profound and can have far-reaching impacts on every aspect of our lives. Emotionally, the toll of grief can be overwhelming, leading to a wide range of intense and often conflicting feelings. The profound sadness that accompanies grief can feel all-encompassing, making it difficult to find joy or motivation in everyday life. Alongside sadness, individuals may also grapple with feelings of anger directed at themselves, others, or the circumstances surrounding the loss. Guilt, whether rational or not, can compound these emotions, leaving individuals haunted by thoughts of what if or if only. Additionally, the sense of despair that accompanies grief can be profound, leading to a feeling of hopelessness and an inability to envisage a future without the pain of loss. Furthermore, grief can also manifest in various forms of anxiety, including generalized anxiety, social anxiety, and even panic attacks. The fear of facing life without the presence of a loved one can be paralyzing, impacting the individual's ability to engage in everyday activities or form new connections. Feelings of helplessness may also arise as individuals struggle to come to terms with the reality of their loss and the limitations of their control over the situation. Physically, the impact of grief can be equally taxing. Many individuals experience profound fatigue, finding it difficult to summon the energy needed to carry out daily tasks. Insomnia is also common, as the weight of grief can disrupt sleep patterns, leading to restlessness and the inability to find respite in the night. Changes in appetite, whether a decrease or increase in food, are frequently observed as the body's response to grief can manifest in disrupting eating habits. Additionally, grief can give rise to various psychosomatic symptoms such as headaches, muscle tension, and gastrointestinal distress, further compounding the physical burden of the grieving process. On a mental level, grief can disrupt cognitive function, leading to difficulties in concentration and memory lapses. The overwhelming nature of grief can make it challenging to focus on tasks, leading to a sense of mental fog and disorientation. This can impact work performance, academic pursuits, and everyday responsibilities, adding an additional layer of complexity to the grieving individual's experience. The multifaceted nature of grief underscores the importance of providing support and understanding to those who are navigating the complexities of loss. It's essential to recognize that there is no right or wrong way to grieve, and that each individual's journey is valid and deserving of compassion. By acknowledging the diverse range of emotions and experiences that encompass grief, we can foster a more empathic and supportive environment for those who are navigating the profound impact of loss. Before I mention ways that can help with grief, I want to clear up a misunderstanding. Many people talk about the 5 stages of grief and attribute them to the renowned psychiatrist Elizabeth Kubler-Ross. This model is not science-based, nor does it well describe most people's experiences, and was never even meant to apply to bereavement. The stages were developed after interviewing many individuals about life-threatening illnesses. It was only the experience of these patients that she attempted to model. So it was simply anecdotal evidence and not scientific, and it was describing patients with terminal illness and not bereavement. Dealing with grief is a deeply personal and individual process, and there is no one-size-fits-all approach. However, there are several strategies that can help individuals navigate the grieving process in a healthy and constructive manner. Acknowledge your feelings. It's important to give yourself permission to experience and express your emotions, whether it's sadness, anger, guilt, or confusion. Allowing yourself to feel and express these emotions can be a crucial step in the healing process. Seek support. Reach out to friends, family members, or a support group to share your feelings and experiences. Talking about your grief with others who can offer empathy and understanding can provide immense comfort and validation. Take care of yourself. Engage in self-care activities that promote your physical, emotional and mental well-being. This can include regular exercise, a healthy eating, getting enough sleep and engaging in activities that bring you joy and relaxation. Seek professional help. If you find that your grief is overwhelming and interfering with your daily life, consider seeking the assistance of a therapist or counsellor. Professional support can provide you with tools and guidance to navigate your grief effectively. Memorize the loss. Finding meaningful ways to honour and remember what or who you have lost can be a powerful part of the healing process. This can include creating a memorial, participating in a ritual practice, or finding a way to keep the memory of your loved one alive. Inevitably, the grieving process takes time. Healing happens gradually. It can't be forced or hurried, and there is no normal timetable for grieving or 5 stages of grief. Some people start to feel better in weeks or months. For others, the grieving process is measured in years. Whatever your experience, it's important to be patient with yourself and allow the process to naturally unfold. In Buddhism, grief is viewed as a natural part of the human experience, arising from attachment and the impermanence of life. The teachings of Buddhism offer valuable insights into understanding and transcending grief. Central to the Buddhist approach to grief is the concept of impermanence and the understanding that all things, including life itself, are subject to change and eventually cessation. Buddhism emphasizes the importance of life and the inevitability of loss. According to Buddhist teachings, attachment to people, possessions and circumstances leads to suffering. The Buddha taught that suffering is an inherent part of existence and that the cessation of suffering comes from releasing attachment and accepting the transient nature of life. In the face of grief, Buddhist teachings encourage practitioners to cultivate mindfulness, compassion and equanimity. By embracing impermanence and letting go of attachment, individuals can find a sense of peace and acceptance in the midst of loss. This doesn't mean suppressing or denying grief, but rather acknowledging it and working towards a deeper understanding of its nature. The Buddhist approach to dealing with grief includes mindfulness. Practicing mindfulness allows individuals to be fully present with their grief without becoming overwhelmed by it. By observing their thoughts and emotions with non-judgmental awareness, individuals can develop a deeper understanding of their grief and its impermanent nature. Compassion. Cultivating compassion towards oneself and others is an essential aspect of the Buddhist path. By extending compassion to oneself during times of grief, individuals can find solace and self-acceptance in the midst of pain. Impermanence. Embracing the transient nature of life and releasing attachment can help individuals navigate the emotional turbulence of grief and find a sense of peace. Understanding that all things, including the people we love, are impermanent can help shift the focus from clinging to what is no longer present to cherishing the memories and experiences shared with them. Equanimity. Developing equanimity or mental calmness and evenness of temper can help individuals maintain balance in the face of loss. By cultivating a sense of balance and acceptance, individuals can find resilience and strength to navigate the ups and downs of their grieving process. The Buddhist perspective on grief encourages individuals to approach loss with wisdom, compassion, and acceptance. By integrating the teachings of impermanence, compassion, and mindfulness into their lives, individuals can find a deeper understanding of grief and develop the resilience to move through it with grace and strength. Integrating the wisdom of Buddhism into the process of grieving can be transformative. Here are some practical ways to apply Buddhist principles to navigating grief. Practice meditation. Engage in mindful meditation to cultivate present moment awareness and observe your thoughts and emotions without judgment. By developing a mindful approach to grief, you can create space for healing and self-understanding. Cultivate compassion. Extend compassion to yourself and others as you navigate the complexities of grief. Recognize that grief is a universal experience, and practicing compassion can soften the edges of the pain and foster a sense of connection with others who are also grieving. Reflection on impermanence. Reflect on the impermanent nature of life and the transient nature of all things. By embracing impermanence, you can shift your perspective from attachment to acceptance and find peace in the ebb and flow of life. Embrace ritual or ceremony. Engage in meaningful rituals or ceremonies that honor the memory of your loved one and provide a sense of closure. Creating a space for remembrance and reflection can be a powerful way to integrate the teachings of impermanence and find solace in the midst of loss. Seek community and support. Connect with a community or group or sangha that share similar values and perspectives on grief. Engaging in discussions and activities that align with Buddhist principles can provide a supportive environment for processing grief and finding meaning in the experience. Grief is a deeply personal and transformative experience that touches the core of our humanity. By understanding the nature of grief, acknowledging its impact, and embracing constructive coping mechanisms, individuals can navigate the grieving process with resilience and grace. So that's it for this episode. I hope you found it of some benefit, and don't forget to check out my website, yesherabgye.com. So until the next time, bye for now.